Hi, this is Chanelly James. A Better Me Every Day, Success Through Knowledge. And today in particular, we're going to look at purpose. We need you. So, this is the age-old question. Why am I here? Well, let's look to the Word of God, because at the end of the day, God created everything, and He has a purpose for everything under the sun. So Psalm 139 says, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." So, what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that we are here because God intended for us to be here. So much so that He has already written every single day of our life in His books. So, a little bit more on why am I here. In Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10, he says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." Again, you weren't an accident. Nope. No one on this earth is an accident, no matter how you came here, no matter what anyone would have said, regardless of even if it was their parents. The Word of God says we are no accident. In fact, He prepared for us, and He prepared good works for us. So that's why we're here. We're here to do good works. Isaiah 46 verse 10 to 11. "I make known the end from the beginning, from ancient times what is still to come. I say, my purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please. From the east I summon a bird of prey, from a far off land, a man to fulfill my purpose. What I have said, that I will bring about. What I have planned, that I will do." So we are saying that we are all part of the major whole plan. God has a plan, and He has fit us into His plan. And He's saying here that He summons a man to fulfill His purpose. He needs us to fulfill His purpose here on earth. So how do I find out God's purpose for my life? This is a very, very important question. I mean, sometimes persons are on their deathbed still asking, what is my purpose? And we don't want that to be your situation, and I think that's why, God would have spoken to me and directed me to speak on this topic. So hear what Jeremiah 29 says. 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." So, does this tell me how to find out God's purpose? No. But it tells me that God has plans, that my life is planned. He has plans for my life, and tells me what these plans are. These plans are to prosper me, not to cause me harm, to give me hope and a future. So, how then do I find out what these plans are? Well, everything is there in the book, Everything is there in the book, in the Bible, right? But let's see why we don't always know what the plan is. For God does speak. Now, one way, now another, though no one perceives it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on people as they slumber in their beds. God speaks. Yes, he does. And in Job they're saying he speaks more than one way. And in particular, one of the ways God speaks to us is through dreams and visions when we are asleep. So our dreams are not to be taken lightly. And for example, we have two instances that I could speak of right now in the Bible where God spoke to men in their dreams. He spoke to Abraham in his dreams and told him he would be a great nation. He spoke to Solomon and told Solomon, because you have asked for wisdom, I'm going to give you wealth and honor. And, so God speaks to men in their dreams. Perhaps he has spoken to you, but you did not perceive it. You did not remember the dream. You did not take the dream seriously. But I'm encouraging you because this scripture in particular also says a bit more of the purpose of dreams and God using dreams to speak to us. So I would encourage you to read a little bit more on Job 33. Again, so remember, in Job it said God speaks to man in one way and in another. So dreams is one way, right? God also speaks to us in through his word. He has spoken in his word. Sometimes the answer is right there, but we want to hear audible voice. We want someone to come and speak to us when he is speaking to us and has spoken to us through his word. So how do I find out God's purpose for my life? I don't want to be in a situation where I'm in a job and I'm frustrated, I'm not happy because I'm just doing this to make ends meet and I'm not feeling the joy. I'm not feeling like this is what I was born to, this was what I was called to do. And this is the situation with many persons. They're going through life unhappy because they have not found their purpose. So what should we do? Matthew 7 verse 7, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. Who better to ask your purpose than who made you? Ask God. Ask God, what is your purpose? Pray and ask God, what is your purpose? He will tell you. But then you have to know how to discern the voice of God. Understand what he's saying. Romans 12 verse 2. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. One of the reasons it would be difficult, and it's sometimes difficult for us to understand what is God's will for our life, is because our minds have not been transformed. We are still operating like how the world operates, so that we cannot understand or discern when God is speaking. I'm sure some of you all might have had the experience where you feel strong in your spirit about something, but it is about a person. It might be about making a major decision in your life, and you felt strongly about it, but you ignored it. That was God speaking through the Holy Spirit, saying, no, stop, don't go, or stay away, or this person is doing so. And because we do not understand how God speaks, we might not be able to discern when he's guiding us. And that's, sometimes, or in terms of him revealing his purpose, sometimes you won't see the whole long picture. He might feel a piece reveal. He might say this way, all right, don't take this opportunity, it will lead to that. Or he might say, okay, go through this door. Or he might say, wait, right? But how would we know if we are not reading the word to understand how he speaks or to understand his ways? You can only understand God's ways by reading his word. Because we have been trained to understand the ways of the world, what is acceptable according to the world, which is ever changing. But God's word is the same. It says forever settled in the heavens. So you want to understand what God is saying. You want to know your purpose. Start by reading the word so that you can understand the mind of God. So that when you have these major decisions to make, you can understand how he's leading you, when he's saying go, when he's saying stop, when he's saying no, when he's saying yes. And that is his leading along your path of life, along that purpose he has called you. So remember, I said we need you. Yes, we need you. And I said before that everyone, every single one of us here have a purpose. Every single one of us was planned by God. You know, I mentioned in one of my videos before that God in his wisdom positioned the planets in such a way to keep Earth where it is, so that Earth would be gravitational pull of the sun would not pull Earth, and then we'll probably burn up. Or it's not too far that we are so cold that the Earth freezes over. God positioned everything so perfectly. He created everything with purpose. Right? How much more important are you than the planets? Right? So, and because we don't understand purpose, and sometimes we don't understand our own purpose, we look down on others. We don't take life seriously. So a person is murdered. Well, you know, he was a bad boy. No, he was someone who had purpose, who did not have the opportunity to discover it, and who the enemy snuffed out his life. And I'm going to tell you why that is a sad thing. Because he might have had to do something for you. He might have been carrying the solution to some major problem in the world. He might have been the new inventor to solve some of the issues in agriculture, some of the issues in the health sector, some of the issues in the education sector. And this is when we don't understand purpose. If we don't understand our own purpose, we would not be sensitive of the importance and how precious life is. You know, and when we see someone fall down or we see someone die in an untimely way, it really should grieve us, especially if we know that they did not fulfill the purpose for which God called them. Right? So this is why we need you. I'm going to tell you why through a story. Jonah. Everybody know Jonah. We know Jonah was swallowed by the whale, or is a big fish, right? But he spent 3 days in the belly of the whale, of the fish, and he prayed to God. But let's get a little background. So in Jonah chapter 1, starts off by saying Jonah flees from God, from the Lord. The word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. But Jonah ran away from the Lord and headed for Tarshish. He went down to Joppa, where he found a ship bound for that port. After paying the fare, he went abroad and sailed to Tarshish to flee from the Lord. So many messages in this. It's not about what we want. When you want to know your purpose, you have to actually say, God, I lay down my plans. Because we have plans, you know, and sometimes our plans, because we are so holding on to it, that we can't hear what God has, and God has a better plan. God says his thoughts are above our thoughts, his ways are above our ways. It hasn't entered into the mind, the heart of God, the things God has in store for us. And sometimes we're holding on to this concept of success, this concept of fulfillment, and it's nothing compared to what God has in store for us. And sometimes we might hear from God, and God is saying, this is the way, this is what I call you to do. But because you do not understand God, you do not perceive the greatness and the goodness of God, and we think that we have a better plan, we do what Jonah does. We ignore, we run away. But we need you. We need you to do what God says. to fulfill your purpose, and this is why. We go into Jonah chapter 3. So Jonah was we skip in the part where Jonah was actually in the whale. He prayed and he cried out to God. And guess what God do? The Lord caused the fish to vomit up Jonah. So I want just I'll stick another point here. Sometimes the hardship that we're going through in life is because we're running and we're not doing what God has told us to do. But when we cry out to God and we decide to be obedient, God acts. God speaks and God acts. The things that are happening in our life are not just happening. It's God speaking, regardless of if we are able to discern or hear, and it is God acting. So when Jonah decided to obey, God acted and told the whale to spit back up Jonah. So this is why we need you. Jonah obeyed the word of the Lord and went to Nineveh. The Ninevites believed God. A fast was proclaimed, and all of them, from the greatest to the least, put on sackcloth. When Jonah's warning reached the king of Nineveh, he rose from his throne, took off his royal robes, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat down in the dust. When God saw what they did and how they turned from their evil ways, he relented and did not bring on them the destruction he had threatened. I want to let that sink in. Your purpose might save persons from destruction. You being obedient and doing what God has called you to do and seeking it out. You have to seek it out. You have to want to do what God wants you to do, and that requires faith. Faith to believe first that God is real. Faith to believe that God created everything with purpose. Faith to believe that He will reveal your purpose to you. But the reason why we need you, why we need me, why we need that person in Africa, in India, in Norway, in Finland, in India, in America, is because there are persons that I can't reach, that you could reach. For example, I do not know much about sport. I'm being truthful here. I don't know much about sport. But you might know a lot about sports, and that might be your open door to reach some persons that I can never reach. So, why we need you? God needs you to carry out His purposes on earth. And His plans for us are good. It's to give us hope and a future. It's to prosper us. So you don't have to worry about if your purpose is good or not. He will tell us that it's good. He has good plans for us. And I'm assuring you that because His thoughts are higher than our thoughts and His ways are higher than our ways, and it hasn't entered into the heart and mind, the things God has in store for us, I'm sure His purpose is better than what we might want to do. Many of us are walking around doing things that God never called us to do. Some of us are doctors and we were called to be dancers. Some of us are teachers and we were called to be law enforcement officers. Some of us might be working in government, but God has called us to be childcare providers. If you don't have that peace, about what you're doing, that's an indicator. So, I really hope that I would have done what the Lord asked me to do, which is speak to you all about purpose, and so that you know that your life is not accidental, and for you to know that God has great things in store for you, great things in store for all of us. So, Chanelly James, I better me every day by discovering my purpose. Thank you, and if you have any further questions, you can always put it in the comment box, and I'll be glad to answer. Thank you again for joining, and I look forward to you in another video as the Lord leads.